All right, how to kill it with delivery. In this video, I'm going to show you the basics of how to use these different delivery apps. And also, I want to show you a couple of my tips to go above and beyond so that I get maximum amount of tips. Okay, so see what I did there? So I use primarily the Postmates app and Dasher app. And I'll tell you why I use them and I prefer them. GrubHub is in my city, but right now they do not have enough. They have more than enough drivers, so they're not accepting more people. So they rejected me, which hurts, but it's okay. All these apps are going to have different needs at different times, these services. I also have Uber Eats, but I took it off recently just because it was not profitable. It was not worth my money unless it was surge time. And the reality is so many people used Uber Eats for a while without tipping because tipping was on the app. And so it's just not in the culture. Now, currently, you can tip with Postmates, but it takes like 5 days to show up often. Dasher, they often pre-tip. And it's something that I actually don't like about Dasher app is because what they'll do is they'll give you, and let me show you in all transparency, I've only done a couple. Now, while I'm here, look, $400 for every new Dasher I refer, but they get 50, which is pretty crappy. I think they should break it up to make it more doable, but this is just for Minneapolis, St. Paul. Your area may be more expensive, maybe even better, it may be less depending on the need. A couple of months ago, I know they had no openings for Dashers. So again, they just go back and forth. Now let me just, since I'm here, let me show you the Dasher app. Now DoorDash is a little different, and this is called the Dasher app. You have to download it online. You can't get it on the App Store, and that's the same thing with the Fleet app for Postmates. Now, for Minneapolis, St. Paul, again, this is contextual to my situation, but yours is going to be similar. There's going to be broken up in different areas. What you're going to do is you're going to click on area. So I just clicked on Minneapolis. Let's click on St. Paul. I can start dashing right now because there's a need of drivers because it's 10 a.m. The beginning of the lunch rush is going to start. So I can say I want to dash till 11 a.m. And once I click it, it's going to ask me. It's going to ask me if I have my red card, which is you have to pay sometimes with a credit card. It's kind of like a debit card that they will automatically give you money to pay for the food. Or do you have a charge phone, hot bag, blankets, and those are you have to pay for them. It's less than $20, but it's worth it because it's going to be more professional. You don't have to, but it's worth it. And I would recommend you buying the DoorDash delivery materials rather than any of the other companies. Uber, you have to buy it from them, and it's not as good. There's just more insulation, and it just looks more professional. And then Postmates, they send it to you for free. And then also enough gas. You can check them, and then when you click start dashing, and then you can start getting different requests. Now, shall I do that for the sake of, I'm not currently located in a starting point, which means I am actually in Minneapolis right now. You see my thing? And I was saying that I wanted to dash in St. Paul, so they knew that. So let's say I want to dash till 11 a.m. in Minneapolis. Oh, now it's full. Okay, well, I missed my chance in Minneapolis right there. But anyway, if I started to click on that, it would immediately start sending me different notifications of different people. Now, I only receive things that are $20 or higher for DoorDash. Now, here's the tricky thing. DoorDash gives you a tip. They pre-tip. So basically when people order, they actually give them opportunity to tip in the beginning. And a lot of people choose to do that. What I don't like about that is I get the same tip as Mr. Sloth over here, who's not professional, who's sloppy, he doesn't do a good job. And I'll tell you why I'm different when I do delivery, and hopefully this could be helpful for you. I get the same tip. I don't like that. That's why I like rideshare, that I get rewarded for doing better service than other people. I don't like the fact that we get all the same. And so DoorDash has eliminated the edge that I have. And so look at my earnings. I've only done it like twice. I did $11.50 with Black Sheep coal-fired pizza. They gave me a $7.45 tip and a $3.65 delivery charge, and it was busy, so I get extra 40 cents. Now, DoorDash doesn't do blitz and surge kind of like Postmates does, but they'll say stuff like, I think maybe they do, I haven't experienced it, but they'll send a text out and be like, hey, it's really busy, we'll give you an additional $1, so this would be $4.65. I didn't like this. I went to this pizza place, Black Coal Pizza, which is great, but they're really, really slow, and they were super busy on Saturday night. So one thing that is important is to start to categorize in your head where are the busy spots, and that's why I encourage you to join different Facebook groups and figure out where are the places that are busy and efficient and what are the places that are busy and slow and you're going to be steering. I sat around for close to 45 minutes. So I just sat, I used the bathroom, took a break because I was doing rideshare earlier, and I read a book, which was great. I love that. I was getting paid to read a book. However, it was not worth my time. $11.50 for that time. I hated it. So that's why I'm not a big fan of DoorDash. However, that is just a bad experience there. I went to this other place, and I forgot the name. I think it's Quang's. Is a Vietnamese place. I was just there in 2 minutes, 3 minutes, and it was funny because they were like, "You're a rookie, aren't you?" Because I was asking all these extra questions. Like, oh, do you have this? And you always want to double check your order, and they didn't like it. But you know what? I'd rather be safe than sorry and make them feel like I was being not trusting their judgment. But I was, hey, is there napkins and this and that? And she kind of was like, "You're a rookie, aren't you?" And I was kind of offended by that because I was a rookie, and she called me out. And I'm usually good at all these things, but this is my first time doing DoorDash, so I want to make sure I got it right. I got a $2 tip, but I got that before. I didn't see the tip before, but it was pre-included in the fare. So when you get a pop-up, it'll ask you, it'll show you at least $8.36. It's a new way that DoorDash is doing, and a lot of people don't like it. But I've only done 2 deliveries with DoorDash, and you can grind them out. And this was a really bad experience. This slowed me down. This black coal pizza, this one over here, this really slowed me down during the day and wasted my shift. But it was my first time, so it was a good opportunity to practice it. I'd rather I would avoid the pizza places unless they're known for being efficient, and I would just grind them out and do a lot of them. And so this was a bad experience, sample experience. But this is why I don't like DoorDash as much, because I cannot distinguish myself with others, because oftentimes they'll tip before. And again, that's the power of delivery, the beauty of delivery, because people are used to tipping with delivery. Anyway, so that's DoorDash, and that's how the Dash app works. And let me show you a couple more things. Schedule. So you can have, the thing about DoorDash that I really appreciate is that they break apart each part of the city into different segments, and they have a certain quota of the amount of drivers they have for each section, which is really cool, because you can they can, once they schedule enough drivers during that time, then they're going to close the door, and so there won't be oversaturation of drivers, so you can always stay busy, and that's a really kind thing for them to do. And the cool thing about scheduling, at first I didn't like it, but I can schedule for today, Thursday, from 1 a.m. to 1:30 in downtown Minneapolis, and I can sign up. The thing is, I don't actually have to do it. I can just log out or pause my delivery. So if what you want to do is you want to go ahead and look at the peak times. What are the lunch times? Friday is a good lunch time to work. And look, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. That is a good time to work. So I want to set up that and sign up early ahead of time, even if I'm not going to work, so that I have it scheduled ahead. Now, if you work a lot with DoorDash, they'll give you actually additional day ahead of the curve, so you can get the best shifts possible. So they're rewarding your loyalty. So that's a really cool thing. So schedule ahead. This is really cool. And if you looked at my other video about mapping your shift in the where and when to drive, this is important to schedule shifts ahead of time so that you have that break planned and that exercise planned ahead, so you can move around and make money during the moment everyone's at the concert and so forth. Okay, now let me show you quickly the fleet app for Postmates. This is becoming a long video. Now, all right. So right now, if you see in the Postmates, the dark little hexagons you see, that's not surge. That's just places that historically are busier. So gratefully, I live in an area that is pretty busy, and so if, let's say, you lived over here, the goal would be driving over here. Now, note this. For Postmates in my area, we're only in Minneapolis. We're not in St. Paul. We're kind of in St. Paul, but we're not in St. Paul. And so that's something to keep in mind, is that there is there's going to be a limitation of where you're going to be at. Now, let me show you. I already showed you the earnings, so this is the earning size. And this is in the power delivery and how this has been really, really helpful. One thing that is annoying, though, I mentioned, is that Postmates takes forever to post your tip. So this guy, the $23.42 tip, I got it immediately. I'm sure he did it immediately, but I didn't get it for another 4 days. So I just don't understand why they lag so much. Blitz notification is helpful to have on. And so when blitz are going on in my area, namely there's more demand than there's supply, I'm going to get a notification on my phone. Now, vehicle. This is a really cool tip. There's multiple different vehicles you can pick from and say what your vehicle. The cool thing is that you can kind of just pick whatever you want. Different markets have different needs. So unsupported in my market is foot and bicycle. You see these on the bottom? However, if you were in New York, that's definitely going to be supported. Now, I have motorcycle. And the reason why I have motorcycle, and if you're in New York, you can do bicycle and stuff. That I when I get requests, the requests I get will tell me exactly what's in the order, which is awesome because if you have it on car or scooter or truck, they're not going to show you the exact amount of how much is there. So then I don't know if it's worth my time. If it's just a burrito, you cannot get tipped $30 on a burrito unless you do something probably very illegal for that person in addition. Like that and that's probably too crude. But what I'm trying to make a point is you can only get so much no matter how good of a delivery driver and how personal and beautiful and great smile and handshake or whatever, all the things that you can do. You can only get so much. So I try to vet my orders and only take them out. So even when I'm doing rideshare, during a peak time, even when I don't want to necessarily do delivery, I'll have this up. And it's just one more app to keep me busy. So I'm maximizing my time. And I have motorcycle on because it's going to show me what the order is. If you have car, once again, it's not going to show you what the order is. It's going to just show you the place. Okay, they may change this, but right now this is like the super biggest tip that I could possibly give you for Postmates. Now, when it comes to customer service, most delivery people are even worse, honestly, from my gathering, than rideshare drivers. You don't have to have as nice of a car. Look, notice the hotspots are gone, hexagons are gone. So that was just clear. The hexagons come up where they show you historically it's been busy at this time. Not it's busy right now, but historically it's been busy. So usually on Thursdays at this time it's gonna be busy, but you have to just keep things in mind because this was Labor Day week. This is September 7th, Labor Day week. It's a different kind of week. So it's all the data, the regularity is not going to be the same. Okay, so let's go back to this. A lot of people who do delivery, maybe they can be really, really young and not as experienced. And I see them all the time when I go to places to pick up food. They're dressed sloppily. They're not very motivated. They're not happy to be there. They're just grinding it out and doing a job. Now they're elite. That's just the average delivery driver. If you want to be an elite driver, this is what I would recommend. The moment you get to the restaurant, weigh out real quickly if it's going to take a while. If it's going to be immediately, awesome. If it's going to take a while, you send a text message to your passenger, which you can do. And when you send that text message to your passenger, say, hey, this is X, whatever your name. Hey, this is Sam with Postmates. I just arrived at, let's say, Jimmy John's. Jimmy John, you never Jim John's has their own place. I just arrived at Chipotle. There's a long line, and they just told me it'll take an extra 10 minutes. I'm so sorry about that, but I'll get it to you as soon as possible. Okay? Wow. Can you imagine receiving that text? Wow, this person's professional. I know exactly where my food is. And just like I said with rideshare before, one of the best ways to grow as a delivery driver is to actually take a do delivery yourself, receive a delivery. So before I started this, I ordered from all the main ones and just got a feel. What were these drivers like? What did I feel like? And what I felt is I wasn't sure when the food was coming exactly. And so having that upfront idea is awesome. If Postmates cannot anticipate a long line for that time, and you can tell them ahead of time, man, wow, thank you for telling me. That's the response I get from people. Oh, thanks so much for letting me know. Let's say it's really quick. Hey, just picked up your food. It's hot and ready. And what I also say in my text is I double check to make sure everything is there. And I do. I ask and I make sure the utensils. And if you also, when you get your order, there's often notes, delivery notes, and also notes like extra sauce, extra this. And I double check that and I ask and I make sure it's there. And so I tell them, I double checked your order. And then I'll make sure I turn on Google Maps or Waze, and as on the way there, I'll send them a message, say, hey, or right before I leave the restaurant, I'll say, hey Sam, hey, this is Sam with Postmates. I just got your order and double checked it. It smells amazing. I'll be there in about 7 minutes or whatever the time is. That is so amazing. That's so helpful. Not only will sometimes they come out to meet you when they don't have to, that also just gives them an idea of when you're coming and you're telling them, you're getting them excited about the food. It smells amazing. Oftentimes when I drive my car and if I send a voice text, I say, hey, my car smells so good. Thank you. Man, I'm showing that I'm not like another driver. I'm personable and everything. Make sure you check your notes. Maybe this is the tricky thing. Delivery, the trickiest thing about delivery is parking. Parking to get your food and parking to drop off. So maybe they're in an apartment place. And so finding a parking place is tough. And you can even ask them, hey, is there a place that you recommend me park so that don't get a ticket? Or can you meet with me outside? Or something like that. So because think ahead of time of how you can put the person in your shoes so they know that, hey, Like, you live in an intersection where there's no parking. Where do you expect me to park? And instead of doing something illegal, just say, hey, I have no idea. I have no place I can find a park. Can you help me out? And man, they can often come out and meet you. All right, now what do you do when you meet the passenger? I shake their hand, say thank you so much, hand them their food, enjoy your food. Man, if I giving them a personal touch, physical personal touch, giving them a handshake, telling them, enjoy your food, and they've been able to communicate with me throughout the time. Do you know how many drivers do that? Do you know how many delivery drivers do that? Almost none of them do that, only a few. And if you do that, you immediately set yourself above, and that gives you opportunities for huge, huge tips. So delivery, good, okay? Delivery has its challenges, but you have a large amount of room to differentiate yourself from the vast amount of delivery drivers. But on top of that, you have a lot of room for growing your income with tips, because people are used to tipping. And often, like I showed you over here, this person tipped me more than 20%. Right here, this $23 tip right here. And this person tipped me about $14.14. Which was more than a 20% tip, because people are used to doing that. And if they're servers, they may do that because you're bringing it. They know that you're traveling. You are in some ways, in some restaurants, doing more than a regular server would do. So man, use this. Use the power of delivery and maximize your income and your time. So hopefully this was helpful. Again, GrubHub. Oh, look, all these hotspots. It is now 10:26. So GrubHub, Postmates. I think there's one called Caviar. That's one in certain markets. Constantly look up for bonuses, look up for all these opportunities. There's new ones coming onto the market, and utilize these different apps for your own benefit.